Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the album Bathory by the band Bathory. This is their self-titled debut album, and it was released in 1984. So Bathory was a black metal band for only a little bit. Then they changed their style to Viking metal for some reason. But yeah, so the first three albums, this album, their second album, their third album, are black metal albums. But yeah, so before I get into the album, I'm going to name off the band members really quick, which I have to look it up because for some reason there are no band member credits on this album. Hold on. Here we go. Korthon on vocals and guitar, Stefan Larsson on drums, and Richard Bergman on on bass. Yeah, but for some reason there are no band member credits on this particular album. But anyway, so now let's get into the songs. Alright, so the album starts off with not a song, but sort of an intro / instrumental. I mean, it's not really an instrumental. I guess you can say it is sort of an intro. I don't know what it's called, but it's not listed on the intro is not actually listed on the track listing on the back, even though it is actually listed on the lyric sheet. Storm of Damnation is the title of the intro. But yeah, I don't know why, but it's not listed on the actual track listing on the back of the album. But yeah, there's that. I mean, the intro, it's fine. It sets the mood for the album. It's just basically like church bells ringing with rain coming down like a storm. But yeah, I mean, the intro is pretty cool. I do like it. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if it was this particular album, but black metal, a lot of black metal releases going forward would have, you know, a similar style of intro. Again, sort of a storm audio of like a storm with, you know, church bells in the background and stuff like that. But this might have been the album that started the trend. I'm not sure. But yeah. So yeah, the intro, pretty cool. Now, getting into the first actual song on the album, Hades. Very good. Very fast pace. The guitar is just so... It's a riff that's fast but not too fast, and simple but not too simple. It's a very perfect guitar riff that is catchy, but it's done really, really, really well. The drumming is also really good. And I love... this riff is kind of unique because it is quite different than most of the guitar riffs on the rest of the album. Where the guitar riffs on the rest of the album, for the most part, are, you know, sort of rhythmic and, you know, have sort of a smoothness to them. Yeah, they're catchy, they're fast, but they're also kind of, I guess, smooth. I honestly don't know how to explain that very well. Whereas this guitar riff on the first song is... it's not as smooth and... not clean, but it's not as smooth and rhythmic as the rest. It's built up out of these fast, sort of very chaotic bursts, if that makes any sense. Like it's not really a rhythm. It's sort of like fast rhythmic bursts of guitar notes that all together make up a riff. But yeah, it's a very cool and interesting riff because it's catchy, but it's also unique to this song, and it's not repeated on any of the other songs. But yeah, and then again, the song overall is really, really good. The next song is probably the most well-known song on this album. It's called Reaper, or as the lyrics say, The Reaper. Another really good one. This one's a little bit short, but it works. It's a short but sweet song. It's very catchy. The chorus is awesome, and yeah, I absolutely love it. The next song on the album is called Necromancy. Another great one. So the song before it, The Reaper, is short but sweet. It's sort of a faster song. This one slows it down just a bit. It's not a slow song per se, but it is slower. So it slows the pacing down just a bit. Not like the pacing's wrong or anything, but it slows it down. Kind of a breather from the fast-paced songs the two fast-paced songs that came before. Really, really good. The riff on this one is a little bit more technical, a little bit more, it has just a little bit more to it. The song overall, very good, very catchy. Again, the riff is great, the solo is great. And that song, Necromancy, goes into the final song on side 1, and that's Sacrifice, which goes a little bit backwards. I like how, for the first two songs, very short but fast paced. Necromancy slows it down again. Then it sort of hits you off guard, like, ooh, it's back up. But yeah, so far I really, really like just the smoothness of the transitions into the song after song, and it does it very well because while it is sort of abrupt, it works. And yeah, I really like this song though. Sorry, I'm getting off track, but yeah, the song Sacrifice is also really good. Again, it's quite similar to the songs Hades and the Reaper, but again, it's still really, really good. Going on to side 2, the next song is called In Conspiracy with Satan. Honestly, it's a very forgettable song. It just feels like, compared to most of the songs on the album, is kind of generic. I don't know how to describe it. It's just generic and forgettable. And then the song after that too, Armageddon, also very generic and forgettable. But thankfully the album picks up again. Because the song after those is Raise the Dead, which is my favorite song on the album. Very good, catchy guitar riff, amazing guitar solo, and just a very, very cool and very memorable song. I absolutely love it. But yeah, Raise the Dead, fantastic song, my favorite song on the album. And then the last song is called War, another really good one. Now, sure, I could nitpick it for lacking a lot of vocals. Like, there's like some in the beginning, but most of it is just, the chorus of just the word war over again. But honestly, that doesn't matter to me, because even though, yeah, sure, the lyrics are kind of lacking, but the instrumentation on this song really makes up for it. I think the instrumentation, again, like with most of the songs on the album, is amazing. And then there's an outro, which again is not listed on the track listing on the back of the album and only listed on the lyric sheet. The outro is also, I don't think the outro is as good as the intro, mainly because compared to the intro, the outro is so unbelievably short. Like, it's very short, like only a couple seconds. So I don't know why they couldn't have added the outro to the end of the song War, because the outro by itself doesn't make any sense in why it's there. Again, it's only a few seconds long. But yeah, so, so before I get on to my final thoughts, I'm going to talk about the artwork really quick. This is not an original pressing of the original 84 pressing. This is I believe a 2014 re-release. And while for the most part the artwork is exactly the same, the only thing that's different is the color palette. The original release, the first 1,000 copies of the original release had a completely different color palette. As you see here, it's black and white, right? Well, the original color palette was black and yellow. Yeah, for some reason the original color palette, like the goat and I believe also the logo here was, very odd, very ugly shade of yellow. Which, of course, the singer of the band Cawthorn did not like. So after the first initial 1,000 copies, they changed it to black and white instead of black and yellow. And I have seen the black and yellow version, and yeah, that whatever shade of yellow that is, it just does not work. And I don't think the yellow overall works. Like, I think the black and white really fits a lot better with the mood and tone and style of music that's on this album. But yeah, great artwork, and I actually do prefer this version over the original color palette. Also, there's a little bit of artwork on the back too. You have this pentagram, which, believe it or not, was actually originally supposed to be the front cover, not this thing right here, the goat. The goat was a last minute change in ideas of what they wanted on the front. But they did keep the pentagram, like I showed you guys. It's on the back here instead of the front. Another thing to note, you have this really cool. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's like a hand, but it's also a crow foot or something. I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool. And then of course one of the coolest things ever. It doesn't say side A and side B. No, it says side darkness and side evil, which is actually pretty cool. I like that. They would continue that thing, side darkness and side evil on their second and third albums. And then on their third album, there's a song called Darkness and Evil, which is in a play with the track thing, not the track things, but like the sides of side darkness, side evil. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty clever. But yeah, so very good album for the most part. Like I said though, the songs in Conspiracy with Satan and Armageddon are very forgettable and just kind of boring. But yeah, the rest of the album's great. Oh, something I forgot to mention. For whatever reason, it's not that big a deal. It's a minor nitpick of mine, but I don't know if this is with the original release as well, or it's just this 2014 version. Well, for whatever reason, the audio on the second half of the album is actually louder than the audio on the first half. I mean, not to say that there's bad audio on the first half. It's good, but for whatever reason, the second half of the album is slightly louder for whatever reason. Just something that I noticed and it was kind of odd, but, it doesn't take me out of the experience. Doesn't really, bother me that much. Again, like I said, it's just something that I noticed. But yeah, this album is, I consider it the first black metal album. Okay, here we go. Now, I know I'm getting into a little bit of a rant, but I do have something to say about, the claim that Welcome to Hell by Venom is the first black metal album. No, it's not. Here's the thing. Sorry, I really wanted this video not to be too long, but I can't help. But I need to say what I need to say because it's been bugging me. Okay, people claim that Welcome to Hell by Venom is the first black metal album. It's not. It is so not. Like, yeah, they have the lyric. The lyric theme, they have the production, and they have, the devil artworks kind of thing, But there's one thing that this album has that the first two Venom albums and, also the rest of the Venom albums, but, more particularly the first one that they claim is a black metal album, it's not. The one thing it doesn't have that this album has are the black metal vocals. Those ring wraith shrieky vocals. Like the more like raspy ones, I should say in this particular case. They have the identifiable black metal vocals on this album, and this was the first album ever in the history of metal to have that. Or at least, for the most part. Maybe there's like some obscure album that did before, but for my knowledge, this is the first album that had those vocals. So, yeah, it had everything else, but the one thing it didn't have was probably the most iconic thing in black metal, and those are the very particular style of vocals. So, yeah, in my opinion, this is the first black metal album, because yes, it does have everything, most of the things that Welcome to Hell has, but it also has the black metal vocals, which Welcome to Hell doesn't have. So, in my opinion, this is the first black metal album. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's, you know, it doesn't have the, musical style you would associate with black metal, but that's mainly, and it's a little bit more thrash metal orientated, but then again, it is first wave black metal, and that's pretty expected from first wave black metal to have more of a thrashy influence. Also, the style of this album, like, the way to describe it is, it almost feels like a combination of the first two Venom albums, Seven Churches by Possessed, and Show No Mercy by Slayer. Like, it feel like that's my only way I could describe what this sounds like. It just sounds like a whole combination, fusion of those albums. But yeah, so I love this album, but it's not a perfect album. But, you know, it is still a great album. I'm going to give this an 8.8 out of 10. I think maybe they could have... sorry. They should have actually just cut off these two songs right here, you know, taken out In Conspiracy with Satan and Armageddon, and I think the track listing would flow a bit better. But as is, it's still a good album, just, you know, I wish the track listing was a little bit, you know, cut down a bit. But other than that, you know, I don't really have any other problems, you know. The audio is good. Again, for that weird audio bit where it's louder on the second half. But again, like I said, that doesn't bother me that much. But yeah, overall, very good album. And yeah, like I said, it's an 8.8 out of 10. Alright, so that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.